Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a city of bells, cathedral towers, civic buildings, star-shaped forts, all humming together, not just marking time, but calming hearts, healing bodies, tuning entire neighborhoods to some hidden harmony. That's the world Shudweney Noventa wants you to hear when he talks about Tartaria. Noventa is a researcher, publisher, and community builder linked to TartariaEmpire.com, a platform devoted to maps, ledgers, photos, and blueprints that supposedly point to a lost Tartarian civilization. His work focuses on how sound, architecture, and memory might reveal a different story about the past. In his Tartaria Bells book, often titled Tartaria Bells, From Healing Bells to the Bells Graveyard, he makes a bold claim that the bells of the old world were not just religious or civic tools, but one of the most erased technologies of an ancient Tartarian empire. According to the book's own description, these bells were resonant machines. They weren't merely ringing metal, they were built to reset the human nervous system, purify entire cities, and even power architecture by interacting with domes, spires, and stone in specific ways. Some passages suggest they might have opened dimensional gateways or tuned people to other realms of consciousness. The journey promised inside the book includes the hidden history of bells, domes, and star forts, the frequencies of healing, and how each tone allegedly affects organs and trauma. A global bell grid aligned with electromagnetic ley lines, a forgotten connection between Tesla's experiments and Tartarian bell towers and atmospheric energy, the spiritual and interdimensional role of bell harmonics, and, crucially, how and why these bells were silenced during a Great Reset, world wars, and a planetary energy shift. In Noventa's narrative, the bells once formed a planetary nervous system. Then, history changed. Bells were melted down, especially during wars. Towers were emptied, and a bells graveyard was left behind. Silent cities, rewritten archives, and people who no longer remembered what the sound was really doing. If you've spent time in the Tartaria rabbit hole, you'll recognize the pattern. Instead of seeing ornate 18th, 19th century architecture, star forts, and bell towers as the result of well-documented styles and empires, Tartaria writers like Noventa weave them into a lost civilization story, a high-tech global culture that supposedly used sound, stone, and ether as infrastructure, then fell in a mud flood, reset, and was erased from official history. So what does mainstream history actually say? Historians and geographers are clear. Tartary, or Tartaria, was a vague cartographic label, used by European mapmakers for poorly understood parts of Central and Northern Asia, the lands of various nomadic and settled peoples. As geographic knowledge improved, the label simply faded from maps, replaced by more precise regional names. There is no accepted evidence of a unified, high-tech Tartarian superempire. Critics classify the Tartarian Empire narrative as pseudohistory, a modern conspiracy theory that repackages normal historical processes like changing map labels, renovations, wars, and technological progress as proof of a hidden civilization and a deliberate erasure. And what about bells themselves? We know from documented history that bells have indeed been central to city life, calling people to worship, signaling danger, marking time, celebrating events. We also know that in both world wars, many church and civic bells in Europe were confiscated and melted down for weapons, leaving literal bell graveyards of broken soundscapes. You don't need a lost empire to explain empty towers and silent cities. Where Noventa steps beyond this is in the pro-interpretation. He takes the emotional truth that bells shape communities and their silence feels like a loss, and stretches it into a global hidden technology narrative tied to Tartaria, Tesla, and Great Resets. For a channel like Black Butterfly Key, that makes his work fascinating not as reliable history, but as modern myth-making. It blends real acoustic science and cymatics visuals with speculative claims about healing frequencies. It uses genuine historical trauma, like wartime bell confiscations, as fuel for a larger conspiracy story. It plugs into a wider Tartaria ecosystem of mudfloods, giants, star forts, and erased empires. If you want to examine how this kind of narrative is built, how it mixes emotional resonance, genuine history, and speculative leaps, you can look at Shudweney Noventa's Bells book directly. The book is on Amazon. You'll find the link in the description and in the first pinned comment. That link is an Amazon affiliate link used for reference and documentation. If you decide to get the book through it, I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you, which helps support this channel and future deep dives. This video is not an endorsement of the Tartarian Empire theory or of bells as erased global healing machines. The consensus of mainstream history and science is that Tartaria is a cartographic label, not a suppressed world empire, and that bells are powerful cultural artifacts, but not evidence of a hidden acoustic grid. Tell me in the comments, when you hear stories like this, of healing bells, lost empires, and silenced soundscapes, do you hear dangerous misinformation, beautiful modern mythology, or both at once? Subscribe to Black Butterfly Key for more critical journeys through hidden history books, conspiracy acoustics, and the strange frequencies of the past. Thanks for watching.